Welcome back to Mathusay Math 10 tutorial. In this lesson, you will learn how to divide polynomials using synthetic division. Let's start. When dividing a polynomial by a binomial of the form x minus r, it's a lot easier to do it using synthetic division. Let's go ahead and solve this problem. Number 1. Divide 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 1 by x plus 1. To do this, we have to take first the divisor and equate it equal to 0. Now this time, we solve for the value of x. In this case, the value of x will be equal to -1. Now, the second step is that we have to list down all the numerical coefficient of the dividend. So, in this case, as you can see, the dividend, which is the 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 1, is already in standard form, right? And also, there's no missing term. So, we can start writing or listing down the numerical coefficient. So, we have the numerical coefficient of 2x cubed is 2. The numerical coefficient of the term 3x squared is -3. The numerical coefficient of the linear term 4x is 4. And the last numerical coefficient is the constant -1, right? Now, we will place x equals -1 in the upper left corner. So from here, we can now start dividing polynomials using synthetic division. To do this, you have to bring down 2. Now from here, multiply 2 with -1. So -1 times 2, that gives you -2. Now, from here, we add -3 and -2. That's -5. Now, -5 times -1, that gives you +5. Now, 4 plus 5, that gives you 9. And lastly, -1 times +9, that gives you -9. Then you add it, -1 and -9, that gives you -10. Now, what are these numbers in the third row telling us? Now, the blue ones, as you can see, I colored it because these numbers are the numerical coefficient of the quotient, while the last number in the third row is the remainder. So, first is that we have to write down our quotient Q of x. Take note, the degree of the quotient is 1 less than the degree of the P of x. So in this case, diba, the leading term of the P of x is 2x cubed with the degree 3, right? So dapat yung degree natin must be 1 less than the degree of P of x. So in this case, we will now write our Q of x using these numerical coefficient. So the quotient is 2x squared minus 5x plus 9. So this is your quotient, and again, the -10 is the remainder. Now, we were able to solve it faster compared to using the long division. Hence, 2x cubed minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 1 when divided by x plus 1 is just the same with 2x squared minus 5x plus 9 minus the remainder, which is 10 over x plus 1. So take note, if you have a remainder, so when you write your answer, it should be remainder over the divisor. Claro? Let's take another example. Example number 2. Divide 3x cubed plus 4x squared plus 8 by x plus 2 using synthetic division. First, again, is we have to take the divisor and equate it equal to 0. So, the value of x is equal to negative 2. Next step is that we have to list down all the numerical coefficient of our dividend. As you can see, the dividend has a missing term, which is a linear term, right? So, when dividing polynomials by a binomial x minus r using synthetic division, we have to still write down the missing terms. So, in this case, we have to write it first as 3x cubed plus 4x squared plus 0x plus 8. Because if you will not insert the missing term with a 0 coefficient, then you will not get the right answer. So from here, from this expression, we will list down the numerical coefficient. So we have 3, positive 4, 0, and 8. Now from here, we can start dividing using synthetic division. Now we place the negative 2 here. So again, we bring down 3 first. And then, we multiply 3 with negative 2. And that is negative 6. So 4 plus negative 6, that's negative 2, right? Negative 2 times negative 2, that gives you positive 4. 0 plus 4 is 4. Now, negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. 8 plus negative 8 is 0. So, in this case, we have now the third row, and we will use this to write down our quotient. Now, the quotient is 3x squared minus 2x plus 4, and the remainder is 0. Hence, when 3x cubed plus 4x squared plus 8 is divided by x plus 2, it's equal to 3x squared minus 2x plus 4. In this case, yung remainder natin is equal to 0. Claro? Let's take the last example. Divide 6x cubed minus 5x plus 4 minus 1 by 3x minus 1 using synthetic division. First thing that we have to do is that we have to equate the divisor equal to 0. 3x minus 1 equal to 0. And solve for x. Now, x is equal to 1/3, right? Now, we list down the numerical coefficients of the dividend. So, the numerical coefficient of 6x cubed is 6, then followed by negative 5, positive 4, and negative 1. Now, let's divide this using synthetic division and place our x in this corner. So, to start, we bring down 6. So, from here, 6 times 1/3. So, 6 times 1/3, that's 2. Diba? 6 times 1 is 6 divided by 3 is 2. Now, negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3. Now, negative 3 times 1/3 is negative 1. Now, 4 minus 1, it's 3. So, 3 times 1/3 is positive 1. So, negative 1 plus 1 is 0. Now, we have completed the third row, right? So, clearly, we have no remainder. Now, we write the quotient q of x. Take note that the degree of the q of x must be 1 less than the degree of p of x. In this case, diba, the leading term is 6x cubed. So, dapat yung ating quotient should start with x squared. So, using this numerical coefficient, we have 6x squared minus 3x plus 3. And that is your quotient. And in this case, your remainder is 0. So, when 6x cubed minus 5x squared plus 4x minus 1 is divided by 3x minus 1, it's equal to 6x squared minus 3x plus 3. Now that it is clear to us how to divide polynomials using synthetic division, try these exercises. If you're done, flip the screen and verify your answers here. If you think Mathusay math tutorial helps you learn how to divide polynomials using synthetic division, give this video a thumbs up, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Remember, ang sikreto para maging mathusay, matuto, at mag-ensayo. Watch the next episode and learn how to find the remainder using the remainder theorem. Bye!